Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mystery Sports Podcast. Today, the bit of a roundup of obviously what's happened in the weekend sport, mainly obviously football, but we have also got the F1 that has finished and took place this weekend. So, yeah, let's get into it straight away. We'll go to the Singapore Grand Prix. Mercedes, great win for them. Russell first, brilliant for Mercedes, and to close that kind of uh, cement their kind of second place in the Constructors' Championship. Obviously, today, with McLaren and Lando Norris getting on the podium, they do get crowned the Constructors' Championship. Yes, they're the winners of the Constructors' title in F1 this season, in the 2025 season. I mean, it's been a dominant display from McLaren. I think the two papayas have been right up there. Obviously, there's a bit of controversy with the papaya rules and how everything plays out that way and things. I think it's good competitiveness for the two drivers there, but I think obviously there are some kind of issues in terms of how like one driver gets treated and how the other driver gets treated. For example, I mean, we also have George Russell winning, so I've mentioned that before, previously. Then I mean, it's a great result for Mercedes, and as I said before, that if they want to cement their second place in the constructors' championship, and Russell wants to get his place or finish higher than fourth in the championship this year, he's got to win these kind of races, and I think it's a brilliant sort of kind of statement from George Russell to get another win under the bag in this season. I mean, it's fantastic for them. It's brilliant. I mean, to win ahead of Verstappen by 5 seconds, really good. Good time management of Russell. I think Mercedes have played really well, like the cars well this race. I mean, Antonelli coming fifth. I mean, even though it's not top four, I think it's still really good to get 10 points in Singapore and it being his first ever race here. I think Antonelli's done wonders here. I mean, just Lewis Hamilton watch. Obviously, P8 starting P6 isn't the best, but I think Ferrari have got a lot coming for them, and I think once they get everything right, once they get it together, they'll look like a stronger team, look like a much more comfortable team, and have that kind of opportunity to win those races again. But I think with Lewis and the way that they're working together, I think Ferrari will have quite a bit of um, development obviously happening, and eventually it will click, and hopefully they can challenge for the title, and Lewis gets that eighth world championship. But for Mercedes, brilliant performance from Russell, and just congratulations on McLaren obviously winning the constructors championship, because it was well deserved. No one could compete with them, and fair play. And we move on to the WSL. So this week in the WSL, we've had quite a few big games this week. So we had Man United versus Chelsea. That was a brilliant game. It 1-1 it finished. I think the way that United kind of tried to go toe-to-toe with Chelsea was brilliant. I think it gave them more of a refresh, or it was a bit refreshing to see that kind of Chelsea not being so dominant as they previously are. United obviously going 1-0 down early, but then to literally bounce back straight away and pepper them with chances. It was brilliant. I mean, it was a very close game overall. With 19 shots to Chelsea, 15 to United. I know obviously there's a 4 shots difference, but it's still quite a close game. United having 51% of the ball and having obviously dominating the ball, really. You can't really argue with it, really. United could have won the chances, because I feel like United's chances that they did create were miles better than Chelsea. But, you can't argue with it. 1-1, brilliant performance from both sides, and it was an entertaining game. Then you've got Man City versus Arsenal, 3-2. That was a very, very excellent game there. Probably the game of the week for the WSL. I thought it was just brilliant. There was a lot of attacking football there. Chloe Kelly obviously scoring against the former club. And yeah, I mean, it's a good performance from City. Arsenal were unlucky to obviously go away with 0 points from that game. Then you have Leicester versus Everton, 1-1. I think I predicted that to be a draw. It just had a draw written all over it. Villa versus West Ham, 2-0. Probably deserved, I think. Tottenham versus Brighton. Tottenham just edging it 1-0. It was a very close game. And the surprising fixture was London City winning 1-0 against Liverpool. Liverpool look really, really poor this year, and I think that with how Liverpool are going and what they're doing, I don't think they could be under pressure and they could be in that in the zone of getting relegated. I think it's a bold statement, but I do think Liverpool, if they don't kick on, then a lot can be like, well, I just think Liverpool will be under pressure, and if they're under pressure and in that relegation battle, they could definitely go down. Like if London City are beating them 1-0, then West Ham could go beat them, and United obviously they beat them, and Chelsea would obviously wipe the floor with them. So it's a tough one, but I think Gareth Taylor he needs to have that time to just implement his style and to get his message across, which I think will come because we look how well the City side played under Taylor. Brilliant team. How many they won a couple of WSLs, won an FA Cup with him. Brilliant side. So I think that time he just needs that time and he'll get his performances there. Right, moving on from the WSL then, the Premier League, the best league in the world. I mean, what a weekend of football! I gotta say, some of the games this week were fantastic. So we'll go with the Friday night kickoff: Bournemouth versus Fulham, 3-1 Bournemouth. Anton Semenyo, what a player you are! I don't know how the biggest clubs aren't in for his name. Or like in this summer, I wouldn't be surprised if you have the likes of Arsenal, City, United, Liverpool getting linked to him because he's a world class talent. I think the way that he runs with the ball, and I don't even know if he's left footed or right footed. He might be right footed on foot mob, but I mean, the way he took his goal on his left foot, not only that, this goal, but against Liverpool as well. Brilliant performance from the lad. And honestly, he's a very, very, very talented footballer. Then we go on to Spurs versus Leeds, 2-1 to Spurs. I think Spurs just edging that game. It's a very tight game at Ellen Road. I mean, Leeds probably could have, well, unlucky really, I would say, not to get a point there. But fair play to Tottenham doing what they need to do and getting that 3 points there and winning 2-1. 2-1. Fair play. Tough place to go, Ellen Road. Then you have Arsenal versus West Ham, 2-0 Arsenal. I think it was always going to be a 2-0 win to Arsenal or a win for Arsenal. I think Nuno Espirito Santos, his message is getting across there. But I think Nuno will have a lot more time than he did at Nottingham Forest at West Ham, and I think eventually once he has a few transfer windows, he gets his players in who he wants. I think West Ham could come a good side and stay up this year in the Premier League under Nuno. I think Nuno's a brilliant manager, and I doubt that they would go down. I mean, obviously they're losing to Arsenal, but Arsenal are doing bits, and obviously they're in the driving seat of the title. Obviously 1 point ahead in the league, but we'll talk about the league later on. Then you got United versus Sunderland, 2-0 to United. I'll speak a bit more about them later on. Chelsea versus Liverpool, the best game of the season. The best game of the season. 2-1 to Chelsea. We'll go on that a little bit more as well. Then today's fixtures, you've got Aston Villa versus Burnley. Sorry, why do I keep saying Bournemouth? 2-1 to Villa. David Milan scoring 2. Brilliant from him. Everton versus Crystal Palace, probably another shock win here. Jack Grealish rescuing the 3 points at Everton. 2-1 to them. I thought it was a surprising victory, that really. Newcastle versus Forest, 2-0 Newcastle. Ange Postecoglou is going to get sacked probably before Christmas. I mean, if they keep losing, they're going to go down. And what a disaster for Nottingham Forest. And just the message to their owner. What are you doing? Like, you've replaced Nuno Espirito Santos, arguably one of your most. He saved you in the league. He gave you Europa League football, and you sacked him because you didn't get on with him. And now you're facing, where are they in the league? They're like, I think they're below United. Yeah, 17th in the league. I mean, sitting on 5 points, mate. Burnley, the way that they're playing, they could easily go ahead of you. That is disgusting from Nottingham Forest. If I'm not a Nottingham Forest fan, I wouldn't be happy. You've got Morgan Gibbs White. You've got a really good squad, and you're 17th in the league because of your incompetent owner who thinks he's amazing. And honest to God, I'd want him out if he was at United, I'd want him out. Like, don't get me wrong, he's passionate and stuff, but flipping heck, like. What kind of manager what kind of owner sacks the manager who got you Europa League football? And obviously you might not be like friends with him or whatever, but it's football at the end of the day. He was doing well for you. You were doing well in the league. and then you sacked him, and you with Ange Postecoglou, fucking 17th, sorry. What kind of what's going through your head, mate? Because that's not what I would want in an owner. And I know it's not my club, but it is disheartening to see Nottingham Forest obviously going into Europe and things, doing really well under Nuno Espirito Santos. Now to have an Ange Postecoglou who's going to get sacked in December. He's not a good manager. He's awful, Ange Postecoglou. Might have won the Europa League against United, but that United squad were awful, and we need to turn up, because if United turn up, United go and win that game. Definitely, anyone can argue that, and it's obvious, because look at the games when we did turn up last year, which we won. Like, I mean, we might not have won, but we played really well. But if we turned up and won, then we won the Europa League. But Ange Postecoglou is an awful manager. I don't see anything good about him. Like, he's very arrogant, because he thinks he's backed himself up. He does win things, right? But he's an awful manager, if you ask me. Then you got Wolves versus Brighton, 1-1. Good point for Wolves again. It was just a very, very well, like, it was just one of those games where it was just like both teams would score, and it kind of one team had a bit of possession, the other team had a bit of possession, and better chances like that. Then Man City versus Brentford, 1-0 to Man City. Erling Haaland scoring again. He's on fire, Erling Haaland, on fire. I think Erling Haaland will win the Golden Boot this year by a country mile. And I think Salah Ekitike have dropped off this year. I mean, you can't argue with it. Good result for them. Brilliant result, really can't. Yeah, there's nothing you can argue with it. Then if we look at the league table, so we go at the bottom. We'll start with the bottom for a change. So you got Wolves on 2, West Ham on 4, Burnley on 4 points. So they're the bottom 3. Nottingham Forest 17th on 5, Brentford on 7 points, 16th, Leeds 15th, Fulham 14th, Villa 13th, Brighton 12th, Newcastle 11th, United 10th, Sunderland 9th, Everton 8th, Chelsea 7th, Crystal Palace 6th, Man City 5th, Bournemouth 4th, Tottenham Hotspur 3rd, Liverpool 2nd, and Arsenal 1st. I mean, Arsenal, with that, obviously they're over the moon with the results this weekend. Liverpool dropping points. Who else? Chelsea obviously winning. I mean, it was a good positive for them. Crystal Palace dropping points as well. Brilliant news for Arsenal, and obviously to be 1 point ahead, and they've got to use this mentally now. And I think with Arsenal, and what Mikel Arteta has got to do now is you've got to win those games now. You've got that advantage. Liverpool have slipped up twice, and I doubt they'll slip up many more times. They might slip up a couple more times, but Liverpool have already lost 2 games. You've lost 1. You've got to win a lot of your games. You've got to win those games which are against, like, the Evertons, the Crystal Palaces, the Sunderland. You've got to win those games. And if you win those games, Arsenal win the league. Let that sink in. If Arsenal win those games, those tough games against, like, Crystal Palace, Everton, Sunderland, Brighton, if they win those games, Arsenal win the league. I can see it. Liverpool lost 2 games, right? And they're not in good form, right? Against United, they'll probably get back to winning ways. They'll probably go and beat us 8-0, right? It's a given. United are going to get absolutely turned over there. But if Arsenal can win those games and not lose again, or not make up silly mistakes like drawing, then Arsenal win the league. That's how they win the league. I mean, United sitting 10th. We'll talk about them in a second. I'm going to go to Chelsea versus Liverpool first, because that was a brilliant, brilliant game. So yeah, literally it moves us straight onto that game. Brilliant. All I can say for that game was wow, wow, wow. End to end. Perfect. And you know what? I just love watching that game. I mean, I was watching it and I was like, this was such a refreshing game, because you could see how well both teams were playing, attacking wise and defensively. So, like, let's look at the possession and the stats of the game. You've got 53% possession for Chelsea, so they dominate the ball pretty much. The XG, though, Liverpool surprisingly on 1.9 and Chelsea on 1, which was surprising. Total shots 12 each, brilliant. Total on target, Chelsea had 6, Liverpool had 2. Big chances, 1 each. Corners 7 to Chelsea, 2 to Liverpool. saves for Liverpool, 1 for Chelsea. And you know what? That game was amazing. Amazing. I'll always keep saying it was an amazing game. I mean, Caicedo, what a goal. Brilliant take. Gakpo, good finish. You're over there, but he had quite a poor game, actually. I'll come on to it in a second. And Estevo, brilliant. As soon as he came onto that pitch, he changed the game. He looks like an absolutely world-class player. I mean, he's got a lot. He's still young. You can't obviously say, oh, yeah, he's best in the world and he's world-class. Yeah, he's still got a thing. But I think he's got that world-class potential there. And especially the way that he was cutting onto his left foot, just whipping it in and testing out the keeper for Liverpool. You look like a really solid player. And, anything can happen. And, if he keeps his head down, keeps putting those performances in, and Maresca's going to start in more, and he's going to look better. His stats are going to be always going to improve without a doubt. So it was brilliant. I mean, like I'll keep referring to this game as one of the best games I've ever seen this year. It probably is the best game this year. Like the total crosses in the game, there was 31 crosses across both sides, 20 to Chelsea, 11 to Liverpool. It just shows and just reiterates that kind of the fact that both sides were literally pounding each other attacking wise, and both teams were doing defensively sound. I mean, Chelsea probably could have done better with the attacks that they had, especially when I think Enzo Fernandez, like about just before the 7 minutes of added time got added on, had a bit of a chance where he's headed it and he's just gone over the bar. And like, if he gets that on target, it could be 2-1 there, and Liverpool go 2-1 down within 90 minutes, and I mean 3-1 if we're going off what obviously happened at the end. So it's a brilliant, brilliant game, and the way that they both of the teams were just attacking one another, and the way that like the likes of Van Dijk and Reece James, they were just controlling their sides, making sure nothing was silly was happening until obviously that goal where that lapse of concentration just occurred, and Cucurella was just put through, which was a brilliant ball. I think it was by Fernandez, brilliant ball, and then Cucurella just cut it back over, and Estevo's done what every opposite winger should be doing, getting in at the back post, and he's just got a tap in there. I mean, Andy Robertson probably could have done better, but I think just credit to Esteban and the goal that he scored, and to win 2-1. Liverpool obviously 3 losses within a week. Is Arne Slot under pressure? I think and Arne Slot is under pressure. Under pressure, I think the amount of money he's had spent on him, he should be winning every game pretty much, because look at the squad he's got. Like Blabby and Vert's flop of the season. I think he's been awful. 009 or something, something like that. Please correct me in the comments if it's not 009. But I mean, Arnie Slot, mate, you got to get it together. And I mean, I'm saying this now. Watch what happens in 2 weeks' time when United play Liverpool and United get absolutely destroyed. It will happen, because I have no hope for United. We're inconsistent. We can't build momentum. But yeah, talking about United, we'll move on to that. I mean, 2-0 to United. Brilliant performance from them. I mean, like, you can't really argue with what happened. United obviously winning 2-1. 2-0, sorry, 2-1. I mean, first clean sheet for United, I think. No, yeah, the first clean. No, is it our first clean sheet of the season? I think it is. Yeah, probably is. Obviously, United having that clean sheet there, brilliant from them. Le Mans looked very, very sound in net. I mean, Shesko 2-2. Fair play, mate. I hope he carries on this form, because it was really good. We'll just go over a couple of the stats. Or the XG 1.84. United obviously are top of the league in XG. I know people will be like, oh, you don't look at XG, but we'll take it as a win. Total shots 15 United, 8 to Sunderland. United 6 on target, Sunderland 3. Big chances 1 United, nothing to Sunderland. 3 corners to Sunderland, 2 to United. 4 saves from Sunderland, 3 from United. And I think those 3 saves that Le Mans did, I think they were brilliant saves. He's probably caught one and he's made one decent save, and the rest, to be fair, his performance was good. I'd give him a 7.5 out of 10 if I was rating his performance. I think that was brilliant from Le Mans. Like, just the way he just dictated and commanded his 18-yard box is something refreshing, because we've not seen that for a while. I mean, De Gea wasn't that kind of dictator of the penalty box, but he was more of a shot stopper, which we couldn't argue with. Whereas Anana and Binder, they just don't come out for crosses and they look absolutely useless under a cross. They look like Donald Duck in net when the cross came in. But Le Mans, he looked really, really sound. Obviously, his biggest test is Anfield away against Liverpool. I think we've got to kind of play. There's no reason why not to play Le Mans. Like Bayinde doesn't deserve another chance now. I think that performance there just solidified his kind of place in the starting 11 now. Like I'll always say, what I'd go for a starting 11 now, and obviously go Le Mans in net from that performance, brilliant. Then Lenny Yoro, why did he not? Why did that partnership of Lenny Yoro and Delay get destroyed against Brentford? Because them two look like our best players. Mr. Consistent, like Delay and Lenny Yoro, my God, he looks like an absolute player. And I've always said he's a world class player. And ever since he came to United, he's kind of lost that status. But you know, if people actually watch what he does in a game and actually don't look without having a blue shield over them or a red Liverpool shield over them, Lenny Yoro is actually a very, very good player. Like a very good player. And a lot of people need to wake up and see that. So I'd go Le Mans in net, Lenny Yoro right-sided centre-back, Matthijs de Ligt, Mr. Consistent, brilliant. Everyone knows how good he is. I mean, it's obvious. Then I'd go, we'd have to go Luke Shaw for our, well, this is the team for Anfield. We'd have to go Luke Shaw because I don't Lisandro Martinez will be able to fully play a third, like starting. Then we'd go, I'd have to go Dorgu on the left wing back. Delo looked absolutely shocking. He's useless. He needs to go. Diego Delo, you are awful, mate. Right wing back, Ahmad. We know how good Ahmad had. Ahmad in that first half looked amazing. I'd probably give him a 6 out of 10 in that game. Average performance, but I mean, second half really let him down. I mean, he was, I think maybe because he was tired or something. Maybe it could be that. Why he didn't do so much in the second half. Then I'd go midfield. I'd have to go Casemiro and Mainu. I think we have to go Casemiro and Mainu because we need someone experienced on the ball and we need someone who can carry that ball forward into the midfield. And if you look how we played last year at Anfield, Kobe Mainu looked flipping world class in that game. Then I'd go Bruno and Mbeumo as your 2 10s. I think Mount, even though Mason Mount had a very good game yesterday, I still think that if you're going away to Anfield, I'd want Bruno Fernandes and I'd want Mbeumo playing. And Shesko obviously up front, he's on a bit of form, 2-2. Stick him on at Anfield. I think he scores. If we get a chance, I think he scores. I mean, he looked very, very clinical in front of goal. I mean, he could have probably scored more at Anfield. Not sorry, on Saturday. I think that he definitely could have scored more. But I think with what United are doing, I think it was a good performance from them. It wasn't world class. Good performance is probably the best way we can go. I think you play like that against like the teams like Burnley, West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Brentford's, right? You play like that, you have a better chance of winning those games, and you have that kind of chance to climb up the table there and get those points that you need, those 3 points there. If you play how you play against Brentford, you're gonna get fucking turned over every 2 games. And you'll have one game where you win and you look absolutely flipping amazing. Then you get another game when you look absolutely shite. And we can't be having that, right? It's obvious. Because if we play that kind of rubbish football, what we've been doing against Brentford's and the Cities, then you're going to get turned over like we did against City and Brentford. We conceded 3. But then you play like you played against Sunderland. You played well in the first half. You should have scored. You should have been 3-0 up at half time. Maybe the lack of clinical edge wasn't there for us. If you have that clinical edge there, you're 3-0 up at half time, you're cruising, then you go and push for more. And obviously at half time we're 2-0 up. But I think you need to have that kind of ruthlessness of you and to just go and batter teams. Like you're in the ascendancy. Don't drop off from that ascendancy. That's the only criticism I would have of the game. But apart from that though, like you can't, the only negative I have as well, obviously not being as ruthless as we were, was Diego Delo. I just think he looks awful. He's useless. I mean, I just cannot see a future for him. And I think this kind of in the transfer window now. Let's say we're next year summer, right? We finished. We're in Europa League, right? We get European football. I think next year what we've got to aim for is in the transfer window summer, centre mid. So someone like a Belieber, or a Camavinga, someone of that caliber. Okay, possibly Camavinga is quite far fetched, but I think you can probably get 50 million for him, half the price that they pay for Belieber. So I'd take it. I think Camavinga is a brilliant signing, and I think 50 million for Camavinga is definitely worth it. I think you could probably get something like that for him. I mean, he's not £100 million player, and neither is Belieber. But I think if you're looking at both of them, and who's done it in those kind of European stages and that kind of that high end of Champions League, it's Camavinga, and I'd take Camavinga any day of the week. If you ask any United fan, they'd take Camavinga over Belieber. So I think if we can aim for someone like Camavinga in the summer, brilliant. Obviously, the links there that are happening. I don't think United will look for him, but I think he'd be a very, very good fit for United. So let's say we have Camavinga, someone like that. So centre mid, right? Then I think your next priority is your right wing back. So Delo, we know can't do it. He's shite. And then we know that Ahmad can definitely do it, but he's not defensively aware. Like he's not good defensively. So someone like, let's say, Grimaldo, right? Obviously, he's a left wing back. Grimaldo would look amazing, but obviously he's old. So you need someone like a Kunde from Barcelona, good, very attacking, or even Balde from Barca. But I think you're still paying a lot of money for them too. But I think it's kind of worth it because you know that you can get the quality there for him. So there's something to think about. I think definitely a centre mid, a right wing back. Then I think we probably have to make 3 signings, and I'd probably get another left-sided centre back. So move on Shaw because we need to move him on. So I mean, with Martinez being so injury prone, if he can get back injured and play a bit more consistent now, I think then you might want to look. You might not get a left-sided centre back, but I don't think that will happen. I think if Martinez does stay fit and is very consistent, then I think him and Evan, you've got a good 2 centre backs there to cover each other. But I'd look for a left-sided centre back, but then obviously if that situation does happen with Martinez and he does stay fit and he can help Eden Heaven develop, then you don't need that. So then the backup option I'd go for is a left wing back. That definitely. The 2 wing backs definitely are the positions that we kind of need to improve. You don't need any more attackers because I think you've got to let them settle, let them develop, let them build themselves. Give them 2 years. I mean, we know how good Cunha and Mbemo are, so let them just mature let them marinate in that midfield. If you let them marinate, then a lot of things can happen. And Shesko looks good, so let's fingers crossed, touch wood, that Shesko keeps on his form, keeps scoring goals, keeps doing what we need him to do. Have those kind of ruthlessness finishes there. So the system definitely can work. We do know that because it would, if we didn't work, then we would have lost on Saturday. I think there's got to be tweaks in it though. Playing that I'll always keep saying it. We need to play that 3 in the midfield, that kind of diamond shape between not that triangle shape. Sorry, between having 2 strikers, 1 10, and 2 centre mids. But yeah, see, it is for another day. That is everything for today. I know it was a bit of a long stream, but it's been a very entertaining week of football. F1, very entertaining. And yeah, obviously, we'll international break. I have got to tune in for Wednesday because I've got a very special episode there. I think a lot of people will enjoy it and it's something new. So obviously, I'm looking forward to it. It won't be a live stream. I'll post them on the Instagram and the socials and stuff to try and get people to see it and to give you guys hints of what's going to happen. But yeah, so something on Wednesday. We'll look forward to that. But yeah, catch you all in a bit. See you in a bit.